Hello, this is the introduction to the modern Viking mindset framework. And in this introduction, I will tell about the fundamentals about mindset and character building. So it's a little bit of different things in this first introduction, just to get an idea of what it is about. And yeah, and I'm Torbjörn Strand, and the creator of this modern Viking tribe and mindset and framework. So here we go. The character and mindset fundamentals. How to find the sweet spot for your developing your identity, because you need, in my opinion, you need to find a good starting point, because a lot of people just start developing themselves and getting better and everything, and while they're also at the same time very limited in their mindset and their attitude. They have still limiting beliefs. They have like these rules of how they should be and how they shouldn't be, which is not the best situation. And I've seen people that say they are so open, they are so developed, and they are into everything, while they're actually quite shut down and have this narrow view and mindset in their life. So you even there's a lot of people that say they are very open, say that they are so free and whatever, but they are actually not. And what I want to help you is to get a good starting point, so that you can actually do real change and actually become free and independent, or powerful and strong, or whatever you want. So that's the whole idea of this starting point. And we are always somehow influenced by our environment and our people around us, even though we don't maybe want to say that we are. We want to say that we completely control ourselves, and it's only of our own free will, but that's not always necessarily true. In fact, we have less capacity to control our lives than we think. Although, of course, I can choose if I pick up this pen and show it to you right now. Of course, that's what I can have full control over. But the choices you make in life, how you see the world, and also your capacity to develop is always influenced by environment and our own capacity in our based on our temperament and personality. You can always become better, because we always have a scope where you can move inside, but everyone has their own. So if you, example, are really introvert, it's very difficult to become really extrovert. It's like you probably don't even want to become that. It just doesn't feel right. So you can do the work, and we can start behaving that way, but do you really want it? And so instead, like working with what you can work with, and where you can, how you look at yourself, and take for example introversion, like that, you how you look at it, and do you why would you be really, why would you want to be really extrovert? Is it like the society that tells you that you should be? And why, and is there something wrong with being more really introverted? That's just a personality trait, and there's nothing, no valuation in it. It's not good or bad. So that's things to work with. And on this slide, it says, "What have been done to you, you will do to others," which means that your experience in life, even though you would like to say that I have put my past behind me, doesn't affect me anymore, but still on unconscious level, and your memory, even though we don't remember so much, but we remember certain things, we remember how it felt, and that has an influence on us. So also I believe that you should just forget, don't care about the past, but the past is still here if you don't handle it. And what I have written here, that you, if you do shadow work, if you do inner child work, some shame work, and you have the will to change, then it will not haunt you, and you will not necessarily do what have been done to you. This is also something that, like a misconception, that do to others what you want them to do to you, but I don't really feel that that's really helpful, and it's not at all focusing on another person and listening to that person, because that's what you need to do. Why would anyone else want to be treated the way you are treated? Like, how do you know that to be true? Of course you can have like fundamental general guidelines there, but like you need to have some data, you need to collect the information. How does other people want to be treated, and be interested in them, instead of thinking like, I will treat others that the way I want to be treated. And which is what I say here, that how you have been treated, you will treat others, and that can sometimes be quite bad. You have been treated badly, so you will treat others that way. Or you have been treated very well, and you will treat others very well, but they maybe not want to be treated that way. So that's why you need to do this work, so that you are more free, instead of conditioned by your past and your environment. And that's really what this is about. And very important when you want to break free, to create something on your own, to create a character and a new identity, then you need to have done some of these work to be more able to change. So this, for some of you, this might sound that you need to have some sort of trauma, or you need to have bad mental health, or something like that. But it's nothing like that at all, because if you are open and reflective about yourself, you know that we all have shadows, parts of ourselves that we see, that we don't see. It can be good and bad things, strengths and weaknesses, and we need to put some light on them, because when you put the light on the shadow, it will disappear. Yeah, so that's and how do you do that? Because it can be quite difficult, and that's also the reason why people don't want to do it. It's so difficult, so they say, I don't need it. They just project, they get defensive, they get a lot of things. It's like, yeah. The way forward is to accept it, and then to move towards it, and push through it. That's the way forward. And this is for you to feel more alive. You will feel more alive then, because something is happening. You do what's difficult, and you also are ready for it, and you accept it. And then to become eventually free and blessed, or however you want to feel, but more free and alive. And then about trauma is very much talked about today. It's like some people say that we all have some sort of trauma, and what I say is that some people are more sensitive to trauma, to feel trauma, and others are not. It's always subjective. It's based on your own capacity to handle life events. Um, some things are objectively traumatic, and any event can be traumatic for a person. So it's subjective and it's also objective in a way. So if you are not into this, like, don't hang up on the word trauma here. Um, this is just an example of how it can be. You If you have experienced some sort of trauma or some difficult event in your life, and who hasn't experienced some kind of difficult event, what can happen is that if you cannot, if you're a child and you cannot get away, you are like someone else is you are dependent on someone else. You can end up in this freeze reaction, and what happens then when it's during a longer time, you start to get lower activity in amygdala, and the amygdala is the emotional center of our brain, which means that your emotional capacity shuts down, and if it gets really bad, and then you start getting more into a prefrontal cortex activity. You get more like rational decision making, logical, because that's that's a way to try to make sense of what's happening, because the emotions are not, let's say, you can't understand them, they are not rational. The same with our thoughts, they are also not that logical and rational, but it's like it's a coping way to try to understand and control your emotions with a lot of activity in the prefrontal cortex, and that's good to understand, because a lot of people that start their business are very logical, and they just lose the sense of feeling there, and the emotions, like the purpose and the meaning. Why do I do what I do? Instead, it's just, I always want to know what I should do and how I should do it, so I get this thing that I want. I want this income. I want these things. I want to give this to people and help them, and then I get money for that. But that's not really how you create a successful business. You can't. That's not enough. You need to have that emotional part there also. And if you haven't, if your emotional center is shut down, how can you then insert that into your business? And this under here is that this, you can end up in a situation where you feel strange in your environment, and instead of saying that, you say that I'm depressed, I'm anxious, nervous, whatever, stressed. That's also quite common. But what you actually are feeling and experiencing is that your environment feels strange, and that's not bad at all in a way. But it's not, let's say, socially accepted to say that. People would think you're weird if you say my environment is strange. I don't. What I experience is weird. Yeah. They believe that you see the world in a flawed way, that you are in some kind of weird state. So instead, we say things like this, that I'm depressed and anxious, because that's more accepted. And what does that mean? It's a better description of your experience if you say that my environment is strange. And that is actually what's often happening. People that want to leave their 9 to 5, want to get do something on their own, they feel that their environment is not for them, and that, but they don't maybe consciously know that. They just feel, I'm depressed, I'm anxious, these people are just weird, they're fucking boring, I'm here, and I'm the only one with these ideas, and why do I need to do all these things? I want to do something on my own. and then you can eventually you can get in, start feeling so bad so that you just want to get out of there. And yeah, it's uh, so that you're aware of this and that you can handle it. You don't need to leave because of panic, or like you're really stressed or whatever. It's not a rash decision you need to make. The decision can go quickly, but yeah, there's a lot of things about that. When you make the decision, how do you make it? Do you just believe that it will work out? Um, and how do you feel when you make the decision? Because there's a lot of people trying and wanting, but they don't really do anything. Then we go to this. This is character and mindset building. You can start, not everyone, but there's some. If you want to become better, you want to change, you can see your current self as something you don't want. Sometimes you can have a false self. It has gone. You have been living with this strange feeling and not in integrity, as you say, and you have like a false self. It's not your real identity. It's just you're living with a false self, with limiting beliefs and all things. And what it is about is that you have internalized the shame and individualized. There's an individualization thing happening, and your new you build a identity based on this small, like usually you can see the smaller shame bound identity. And first you have your normal current big identity, and then then that's not okay. There's something wrong with you and you have done something wrong, shame and guilt, and then you internalize the shame. It gets smaller and you're in a weak state, what you actually are, even though you don't feel it. But you have that's your new identity, and your future self should be a new identity. And the thing is that we all need to handle shame and guilt when we grow up. But it's in the Western society, we live with a lot of shame. People trying to shame each other and also blaming them for doing something wrong. You just have to look at not maybe the news, but the popular media and on social media. People so much is about shame, and they want to shame others because they have some sort of false self. It's not developed. They are not strong as humans. They are kind of weak and insecure, and therefore they need to shame others. They want to project and not only project the bad things in you, what they did that they don't accept, but they want to transfer it to you and try to push you down. There's a lot of people doing that now here in the Western world, and you need to understand that it's about them and how they handle shame, and you need to then to create some sort of protection for that. And that you do that by this is how you do it for yourself. You recognize your own parts of yourself. Not maybe you don't feel so much shame, but you feel some parts of you that could be developed and either strengthened and or just this way that you recognize the parts that you want to work with, then you live through them. You ask them what do they want, how because there's something that they want, something good with them. It's not something you need to push away, because that's what other people are doing with you. They try to push you down. So what you should do is enhance yourself and the parts of you, and then afterwards you start understanding and accepting parts of yourself. That's what you do. So you live through it in that way. Maybe not so easy to understand now, but this is the process. This is how you do it. And then here, what I want in this community is that you are allowed to talk, you are and feel and trust. Others will hold you back, because this is a place where you can share all your concerns, all your wins, and all your challenges, and talk freely, and trust that you will be held, and others will help you and support you, because some people come into these spaces and they feel that they have been treated badly, and because of that they are bad, and then they start terrorizing everyone here in the community, and looking for acceptance, and like fishing for am I okay or not, and also they get into this can get into this victim state where like they need to find someone to blame and someone to just take out their energy and all their bad thoughts and feelings on, which is okay. That you can say that person is in this state now. It's okay, but this is not the place to just live through all that and share it with everyone. That's not the way. So if you feel that you want that, then be aware that you are allowed to talk, feel, and trust, and do it in a real, authentic way. You also need to protect yourself. You need to honor your pride, to be proud, and have some sort of honor and principles about how you do and what you are. That's the way of a good, strong leader. Also, you should be vulnerable at some places, but strong. Vulnerable is also strong, but just to protect yourself in certain, because you need also the trust of others, and then you can't just be vulnerable all the time. But the thing is also that you need to be in a certain way for a short period of time before you can move forward, and that's what I understand. Some people say that you cannot never be like this, you need to be like this, but sometimes you need to have moments, and because it's a process. You need to go. You can't go straight to the end. You need to go through these other positions before you end up where you want to. You need to try in order to find your true, authentic, strong identity as a leader and business owner and coach and consultant. You need also to go through these others and try it so that you have that lived out also. So yes, actually going to break this out into 2 videos. Great.